Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. The offseason's rolling. Teoscar trade, Tyler Anderson, Rizzo. Award season, players only. Into Turkey Day? Are you nuts? Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Use code Talkin. Download the SeatGeek app. Trevor Plouffe, BBD on the ones and tunes. Myself, Jake Stromboli. James O'Brien, my good friend, John Boy, as you may know him on Instagram. He is on his way to San Francisco because Aaron Judge is out there. Trying to
recruiting trip?
I don't know. There's a lot. It's rumor season, Trev. And the rumor is you're looking good in that white Talkin Baseball hoodie, my good man. How are you doing?
We have a big sale on our shop right now, up to 75% off select items.
Ad. How about it?
No, dude, listen. I'm doing great. I came on here. I looked at you. I couldn't get the vibe. I'm not sure how you're vibing today. Some days I lock eyes with you, and I'm like, I know what Jake's going to do today.
Okay.
This morning, not one of those days.
Okay.
You have a crazy look in your eye today. I don't know which way this show is going to go. Could be one of the greatest shows we've ever done. Could be one of the worst shows we've ever done.
Perfect.
We're just going to have to wait and see.
Trev, you know a secret about me. It's at my heart. I'm a little bit of a baseball nerd, man. And I haven't been in the lab in a while, dude. I went away, had to do some wedding planning.
What are you doing down there in St. Lucia?
You know what I was doing on that island. I was enjoying myself.
Playing hoops.
But it's good to be back and we got some ball to catch up on, man. A big trade, couple of signings. We haven't hit the teeth of free agency. We haven't had the big dominoes drop yet. We know the Judge tour is just beginning now. And, you know, a lot of it's connected. A lot of times they wait for the big guys to sign to kind of set the market, and that'll let some of the other pieces settle in. But interested to see where the rest of this free agency takes us. Where do you want to go, Trev? Yeah, I mean, are we diving right in, or are we getting to your boy Teoscar?
I think we start there. I mean, we can kind of just go down the line. There's different things that have happened, and we've only doing one show a week right now. You know, we're catching up on things. So I'd say we start there because I think, you know, between these two teams, the Blue Jays and the Mariners, these are two teams that, you know, have World Series aspirations. You know, they've, you know, made it to the playoffs. Past that, you got a taste, you want more. So, you know, we talked about the Mariners needing outfield help, the Blue Jays having an excess of right-handed bats, and maybe needing some help in the bullpen. And that's how trades are made, baby. Teoscar goes over there to help the Mariners out. Now you can pencil in J-Rod and Teoscar in the outfield. There's talk about maybe going to get someone else, unless they kind of bring someone from within, whether it's Kelnick or whether Winker spends some time out there. I'm not really sure, but you know they're going to make some moves, so they're not necessarily done. And for the Blue Jays, this gives them the opportunity to go make some moves, clear some space out there, go get that left-handed bat. And then I think they got two pitchers. One, Swanson, who we'll talk about in a bit. He had a really good year last year. Seems to be like one of those like late breakout fucking threw a bullpen in front of a track man and whatever it happened for him. You know, that happens all the time now these days, and they're going to reap the benefits of him to go in the back of that bullpen with Romano and some of the other guys they have there. So it was kind of, you know, we hear one team had a puzzle piece, the other team had a puzzle piece, and they just swapped puzzle pieces.
The old puzzle piece swap. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, the full trade, Teoscar Hernandez going from Toronto to Seattle, bringing his two-time Silver Slugger, one-time All-Star with him in the final year of his deal. So it's 1 year of Teoscar Hernandez. For Eric Swanson, like you mentioned, he's kind of broken out as a reliever. Something in that Seattle bullpen. It feels like they've figured out a sauce back there. He had a solid 2021 that turned into an incredible 2022. A 1.68 ERA, 53.2 innings, 70 punchies. And Seattle, we know a lot about their young pitching, and we saw some of their young guys starting to kick to the bullpen along with their other elite guys back there. So they end up trading kind of from their position of strength with the Blue Jays. Like you mentioned, those right-handed Blue Jays bats, which really becomes the interesting part of the discussion. And Trev, do you wear your watch on your right hand or your left hand?
My left hand.
Well, the Blue Jays need some more left-handed Vincero watches maybe. And hey, sports fans, how about some Major League style, but on a minor league contract? Ooh, I like that. Now you're speaking my language. Vincero Collective, they are sponsoring this episode to make sure all of our listeners are saving big as they accessorize their autumn outfits this season. We're here. I mean, a little Turkey Day watch. Are you kidding me? With code BASEBALL at www. Is that too many? www.vincerocollective.com.
Too many.
You get code BASEBALL, 20% off and free shipping. And it's VINCERO collective.com. Accessorize your life at a winner's price with Vincero. Code BASEBALL, 20% off. Trev, you started going, man. I guess Seattle or Toronto. Where do you want to lean into it more first? Because it's this trade sends big signals both ways about each of these teams' off seasons.
Yeah, I don't know. We can start wherever. Toronto, I think that they understand they needed to create space, whether that's payroll flexibility, whether that's just a spot in the damn outfield. When with 1 year left in control, I mean, this is when teams look to move guys. So Teoscar was the guy, and I think the Mariners are going to be very happy with him because it's exactly what they're looking for. A short-term deal. They can go out there, and if they fit and he does well, then we talk about extensions and all that good stuff. So the Mariners got exactly what they wanted. And then for the Blue Jays, like I said, they clear a spot and they get bullpen help. Everyone needs bullpen help. You need as many people back there that you can think you can count on, and then the season plays out. So, Swanson is one of those guys that doesn't give up hard contact. And I think if you're looking for bullpen help, or any pitching help, that's kind of one of the first things you look at. Is this guy getting banged around or not? Regardless of what, the traditional numbers say. If a guy's issuing soft contact all the time, I like my chances with him. So they're going to get that. He is a fly ball pitcher. I'm reading this article on trade rumors right now. But a lot of the fly balls, and people are saying, Toronto, it's a bandbox. Trev, how many homers you fucking hit there? So many. I don't know. I can't even count. Yeah. But again, low exit velo, a lot of pop-ups to the infield. So sometimes the numbers are deceiving with Swanson in that regard. But yeah, for the Blue Jays, not only do they get this help, but like I said, now they're in the market for an outfielder. And if we're looking at kind of who's out there in free agency that fits the bill, couple big, kind of known names. Brandon Nimmo is one of them who, we talk about this all the time. Anytime you see his baseball reference page, you're like, what did this guy just do?
Yeah.
Huh? What? He plays in New York, and I still don't know exactly how his game is, but he's available. And then not a shocker, but someone they might take a chance on, Cody Bellinger. What do you think about Cody?
Cody's interesting, and I think we're going to talk about some of the non-tendered guys in a little bit. Me and Beebs talked about it a little bit on Wake and Jake. It's whoever signs Cody Bellinger is going to end up being stoked, right? Because the potential is there, and the price tag it's going to be low risk. That if you figure it out, you're gonna feel awesome about it. And then if it doesn't work out, you say, oh well, that's what happened. Like Boris came out and said they're only doing 1 year because they want to tap into it, and hopefully the shoulder's feeling better and all that. So I think for Toronto, like you alluded to, it's nuts looking at that lineup and seeing all the righties. Teoscar's a big blow, man. As someone who watches a lot of Yankees games, and Toon, you watch a lot of Blue Jays games. Teoscar's a constant threat. It's a violent bat. If you see runners in scoring position, you are in the bad place. 2-time Silver Slugger. I know some of those awards get lost in the mail a little bit, but that means you're doing something right. And he is a violent bat. And for Seattle, he'll fill in for Mitch Haniger, who was out for most of this season, but he was kind of their power righty in the middle of that lineup. Plug in Teoscar for 1 year. For a guy, Eric Swanson was a throw-in piece going back to the James Paxton trade a bunch of years back that up until last year, you hadn't really tapped into anything. You go from your bullpen. He's a guy that can give you an eighth inning. Toronto needs more of those guys. They get that. For the price of 1 year of Teoscar, it's for them. It's what's the next move. We've heard rumors about their catchers, Alejandro Kirk and Danny Jansen. Are they going to do something there? Because they've got their prospect Gabriel Moreno coming up, who's supposed to be a stud of studs, top 3 prospect in the game. So it's what is going to be the next move, and I don't know. My brain initially jumped to Nimmo. I saw a lot of the internet jump to Nimmo. Again, he's a guy that's going to do very well because there's not a lot of lefty outfielder options. There's not a lot of center field options. That Toronto, they also, Toronto fans take this as a shot. I think it's the honest truth. Then you could call me out if you think I'm wrong. But they normally have to bid a little more. If you're going to move your family and your livelihood to Toronto, A, there's some big taxes. B, you're moving to another country. I think we saw it when Springer signed. I think he got a little more in another year than people expected. We saw that with Ryu. Brandon Nimmo, it's in a really interesting spot because we could talk for an hour just about that dude because you're right, man. The stats he puts up are insane that initially everyone was like, oh, maybe it's that like 5 for 100 range. I think some people then jumped to George Springer a little bit because he can play a little center field and kick to the corners. And then the most recent one, I got to give a shout out to your boy Kenny R. He said this might get closer to the Ellsbury contract, which I think was like 7 for 133 or 143. And, if you do a little, 2022 on that you start approaching 150 mil before you're getting close to 100 mil, which if Toronto's willing to go there, which Brandon Nimmo feels like the guy that with a slight overpay, he can be yours. They need a lefty bad. They just opened up an outfield spot. Teoscar is going to be the equivalent of, I think, like 13, 14 mil coming off the books while you got a reliever. It feels like they're going to make an impact play for a lefty outfielder, whether that's free agency or in another trade.
Can't wait to see what it looks like. Yeah, and I actually asked someone on baseball today when we do our AMP portion of it, some callers, you have callers call in. I said, hey, like, anyone Blue Jays fans, or excuse me, Mets fans, like call in. I want to ask you about Nimmo. And I said, I don't watch this guy play every day. And I think that's when you really can get a good sense of what someone is all about. You got to watch him play every day. I said, I get the highlights. I see the stats. And I'm just wondering, like, what does it feel like? Like, what kind of at bats are we putting up here day in and day out? And the guy was like, dude, this dude's a fucking grinder. Like, he goes up there and he gives you solid at bats no matter what. Doesn't matter, like, what the game is like, close or a blowout, whatever. He's like, every at bat is solid, man. And that's like the best thing you can say about someone as a hitter. Like, he goes up there and gives you real deal professional at bats every at bat. And not to mention, we've seen him make some really good plays defensively. I'm kind of looking at some of the numbers. I don't know if he grades out super well defensively. I think it's probably decent, but he made definitely some highlight plays this year too.
Yeah, he's definitely made big steps in center field, and he's going to have a couple more years of center field if you want that. Mm-hmm. I think he's already played some corners, so you expect that to translate well. There's a little bit of health questions, but he balled out last year. He played 151, and I mean, he's going to get the bag. The only problem is, again, it's not a deep outfielder pool that a lot of teams are going to end up in the Brandon Nimmo sweepstakes. That if you're Toronto, I guess that's where I'm really interested to see some of the other steps, because even if you get Brandon Nimmo, who's a guy you probably bat leadoff because he's an on-base percentage guy, it's not like you now have a balanced lineup. It's Brandon Nimmo and all righty. So this feels like moving Teoscar felt like the first part of like 4 moves for the Blue Jays. It feels like they're gonna trade a catcher. It feels like they're going to sign an outfielder, whether that's Nimmo on one end of the scale, Benintendi, Bellinger, one of those lefty types. And then it feels like there's probably something else that we're not even thinking of with that lineup, because it feels like it needs just a little bit more of a shuffle. And you're kind of liking how that bullpen works. You'd love another starter, so would every other team. But I'm really interested to see how that kicks off the rest of Toronto's offseason. Well, if you're Seattle, like we said, plug and play with Teoscar, bing bong. I wonder if the thought process there is, let's see if Kelenic turns into the Kelenic we thought he would be. So if Teoscar gives you 1 year, then you've got your guy there. I personally love the move for them. If you can trade a reliever for what Teoscar can do for a season, that feels like a win for me. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. These Seattle Mariners, they came onto the radar. They're supposedly linked to some of the big boys. They're supposedly checking in on the Trey Turners and guys like that. They're an organization that I guess we don't normally view them as, I don't know, how do you phrase this? I mean, they went out and they won the Robinson Cano sweepstakes. I know that's many moons ago now, but they're in a window. And they've got a few guys that they have pitching depth. Their bullpen still looks good with Sewald, Munoz, Castillo. Brash is back there. They got Luis Castillo. We know there are other trades. I'm wondering what else it is, whether it's a lot of people are talking about second base. Is it Gleyber Torres? Is it a Colton Wong? Seattle, they're in the mix, and they are in their window firmly, so they're going to go.
Yeah, this for them, it's like they just got to keep adding weapons, because if it's like you're in a Western movie, right? And you think you're just going to go and give me one of these, but the guy on the other end of the town that's walking towards you has like 6 guns. And now I'm talking about the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Like, that's the elephant in the room here with all Mariners trades and signings and everything. And I know you could say, hey, that series could have went a little bit different for them in the playoffs. Sure, but it didn't. And the Astros won the whole damn thing, and everyone's coming back, and they're going to get better probably because that's what they do. You got to just tool up against these guys. And I think that's what we're doing. I think they keep going. Like, maybe they bring Haniger back because they didn't offer him a qualifying offer. Maybe they bring him back, for less money, and he runs back out there. Then I kind of like that outfield of Teoscar, Mitch, and Julio. Or maybe there's definitely options for them, but I think they're going to keep going. I think they're going to keep adding because they have to, because they've seen what it takes, man. And once you get up close and personal like they have with the Astros over the last couple of years, you understand you got to keep looking for weapons. Like, there's no stopping right now. Like, you can't rest on your laurels. And they have some places they could trade from. They have maybe too many starting pitchers now, but I don't. If I'm the Mariners, I don't even really look that way. But they have to keep going.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, Jesse Winker, who came over, and look at that stat page. It's nuts. Is that someone that they punt on and maybe that potential second baseman trade, and then they address something in free agency? Or, do you hold on to him and you just add straight up in free agency? It's going to be interesting to see the next steps for Seattle, because you're absolutely right. I mean, there's no way you can walk into next season as a Seattle Mariners like, we're good, roll it out there. It's like, no, until you haven't like made the dragon bleed yet. Like, the Dragon just won the World Series again. Like, they're making little baby dragons down in St. Lucia.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Because I've read this multiple times now, and I'm just curious your take on it. Dipoto has said they're looking into the free agent shortstop market, which we know there's some big fucking names there. But you got J.P. Crawford. Now, J.P., I know the kind of guy he is. Very proud of his shortstop prowess, a Gold Glove guy. Do you slide him over to second base and bring the shortstop in? Do you bring one of these big boys? I mean, they have the money to do that. They can do that.
Right.
In a move like that, Jake, puts them on a different level. Like, puts them up a tier, right? If you get one of these guys, if you go out and get a Turner, or a Correa or a Bogarts. Oh my God, Xander Bogarts in that
Yeah.
lineup. Do you know what I mean? Like that puts him on a different tier. Those are the type of moves that I think the Mariners. I don't know if they're going to make, but shoot, that's the leap I think they need to take.
Yeah, man. It's they're gonna do something, right? Cause it's your window, and you kind of have to. So yeah, J.P. Crawford, he's got that gold on his glove. That I don't know. I don't know if you end up giving the highest bid for Trey Turner and he wants to come there, you figure it out. Whether he's okay playing second or JP goes over there, sure. But yeah, man, I mean that's this team is scary. They're young, they're talented, they're going to add more. I wonder if for them, I wonder if it's easier to add a starting pitcher free agent and to tap into what they have, that I wonder if they end up trading from their starting pitching, getting a lefty bat or second baseman or whatever it is, and then adding another starting pitcher in free agency because there's just more depth there. I don't know. But as this trade was kind of the early signs of what the baseball offseason will be coming with soon.